AI copyrighted my last video by someone called Venus Theory, which I'm sure this is gonna be annoying to
My new
hear.
instrument, Volt, is available now for free. I recorded it from over $200,000 of different synthesizers and gear, and it all runs inside of a free plugin. If you want to check it out for yourself, you can find it with the link down in the description. I have a question for you. If you created a song using AI, who owns the copyright to that song? Is it you? Is it the AI platform that you made it on? Is it nobody?
I'd say
Or
the
is
AI
it the creator
platform.
of the data that AI was trained on? Well,
It's also a good
whatever
point.
answer you think you have, you're probably wrong. And I'm starting to get pretty worried that that's about to become a really big problem.
See, the problem with saying that it would be attributed to the owner that the AI is trained on is that the AI probably mixes in bits from multiple different people in that piece of music. So, I would say the AI technically owns it, but also I don't know as per the law.
If you are a musician or a YouTuber or an artist or a content creator of any kind, this is about to become a really damn important question, because this could be the thing that kickstarts the next great copyright claiming grift, not only here on YouTube, but across, basically every platform on the internet. And the implications of this are absolutely astounding. After all the work and research and emails and testing and everything that went into the production of this video, I'm not normally one to sit here ringing the alarm bells and doing the oh my god red arrow click face thing, but I think we might be kind of fucked. And to prove it to you, I'm going to show you how I started copyright claiming myself using AI generated content for only about $30 in a couple of minutes, in clear violation of almost all the rules of all of these platforms, with zero consequences.
So we're gonna see how Superband works now, I guess.
So buckle in, because this is pretty bad. Going by the analytics here, as around 40,000 of you will remember, and as around 600,000 of you may have seen, a little while ago I posted a video where I tier listed all of the equipment here in my home studio, and then a couple of weeks later, mysteriously, that video went offline. And this video, at its core, is about why that happened, but more importantly, it's about the absolutely maddening rabbit hole that all of this sent me down. In that video, I decided to use some stock background music, which normally I don't do because I write all the music for my videos, but this one was a little bit different, and it was really long, and it was just kind of for fun. While I was editing the video, I went onto a royalty-free music website and grabbed some different tracks, and I happened to find one that was AI generated. It was noted that it was royalty-free, the creator even said so in the description, and I used it. I uploaded the video, and a few weeks later, wouldn't you know it, I got a copyright claim on their behalf. And that's actually a pretty big deal. If you're a content creator or musician, you're probably already familiar with the absolute hellscape that is YouTube's content ID system. This isn't even my first rodeo with it. I've produced several videos about why it's an absolute nightmare, like when I almost got a strike for using a clip of a fight at a Waffle House, or my video about why musicians who use samples or loops, even though they're royalty-free in their music, might be liable for copyright claims against the music they created with those samples. Now, you might be asking, why should you care about this in particular? Well, if you are a smaller YouTuber who maybe just recently got monetized, or maybe you're a career YouTuber who has an external editor who handles the music in your videos, or maybe you run a very large channel and edit all your videos yourself, or whatever, if you use music in the background of your videos and it happens to be AI generated, or you use AI music specifically because you assume it's safe for copyright claims, YouTube might have just made one of the most impactful and terrible decisions when it comes to copyright and music on this platform.
Sounds about right.
Even though none of it is really legally enforceable, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. If you're not familiar, when a copyright...
It's an interesting visual style I'm noticing separate to the topic he's talking about that he chooses to present for his videos.
claim is filed on your video on YouTube, the monetization from that video is held in an escrow account. This means that nobody gets the money until this claim is resolved. In the case that you win, you're all good and you get the money. If you lose, though, the money for that video now goes to whoever made the claim. You could dispute this, but there can be massive consequences if you lose that dispute. You might get a copyright strike, or maybe even lose your channel altogether.
So I found that with dispute, the wording that they have, like with copyright. Okay, I'll just, because it's a dumb thing that happens. Copyright on Nintendo Direct Switch 2. I don't bother to do anything about these because it's just dumb and it never works. You can dispute it, which is a normal dispute, and all they do is come back and say no, and then nothing changes. But you can choose to appeal it, and that goes to more higher law type stuff, which is like, yeah, I'm not going to do that when I start just small YouTuber myself. I'm not even making money off it. I make a pittance out of streaming to Twitch. That's about it. $50 whenever it crosses the line.
Long story short, Content ID is a fingerprinting system from Google that detects copyrighted content from the internet in its database. Using a variety of different services, you or anyone else could upload content to this database to have it tracked across different platforms so that if and when your copyrighted content is used without your permission, you are notified and in some cases compensated. At its core, Content ID was designed as a good thing. It's there to protect your copyrighted works, and it's an extraordinarily powerful tool for copyright protection. The problem is, it can be pretty easily abused. So why does this matter exactly? There are no shortage of distribution services out there that someone could use to distribute AI-generated music and get it added to Google's Content ID database, so that anyone who uses it, or uses something that sounds enough like it to trigger the Content ID system to flag it, ends up getting to have their copyright claim filed, and if someone disputes it, it comes back to you to decide, nope, too bad, and away you go.
Yeah.
Now, in fairness, most of these music distribution platforms will have some sort of safeguard that says, hey, before you upload this, you need to check this box that says it wasn't AI generated, or you need to check this box that says it doesn't use any commercial loops or samples that might trip other people's songs up because that's not fair and yada yada yada. But there's literally nothing preventing you from just clicking the right boxes and uploading it anyway, even though it's a clear violation of that platform's terms of service.
So this works well for music that's in videos that is like not part of something diegetically. So like a video game having music, it's always going to be an issue because like pretty much every Star Wars game has a Star Wars music from the movies, and that always gets copyright claimed by Content ID, and it doesn't seem to have this discernment where it goes, this is music that is actually normally in the game, let's leave it off. Never mind it getting stuff that is close and may not be correct, or it says it's on behalf of someone that it shouldn't be, and dumb stuff.
So, that's exactly
yeah,
what
he
I
does.
did. Before we get any further into the weeds, though, we should probably take a quick refresher here on how copyright works when it comes to music, because even if you're just a human making human music for other humans and you have no
human
interest in
music
AI whatsoever, these same things that protect your copyrights as a person are the same things that make AI music such a nightmare and could even affect your music, even if you've never used or have any interest in AI whatsoever. But
Rumor Soyal. There
music
we go.
copyright works on just a couple basic cornerstones. After you've written a piece of music, you own the copyright to it, and this is protected and determined by just a few key factors, like the melody, the lyrics, if there are any, the distinctive structure and voice leadings, and other defining characteristics that identify that specific song against another one. Broadly speaking, the two key factors that determine a copyright dispute are substantial similarity, or if the average person would say the two songs are the same, and the idea of access, or if the person infringing on the rights of one song could have reasonably had access to hear the original and then copy it in some way. Determining the outcome of one of these disputes really falls down to argument much of the time, and that's really the source of all of the "did artist A really just steal artist B's song" videos and lawsuits and all that we've seen about 1 billion times over by now.
Yeah, it just goes down to arguments. There you go. Robots ain't got no rights. Exactly.
All this raises the ultimate question.
But the thing as well is when robots ain't got no rights, there's no law saying that they can't do things. Right? So by them not having rights, there's no laws including robots to say that they can't do things.
Here, does AI-generated music or content really have any sort of claim to copyright? And the answer is no. Kinda. Sorta. Maybe. Back in 2023, the U.S. Copyright Office set out a few rulings
it doesn't,
for how copyright...
but then also, I'm already aware of internet laws being so outdated. So, laws wouldn't be able to include AI, would they? Unless there's been a big push for that recently with all the actor strikes and things that they have to include it.
And AI-generated content works. Broadly speaking, AI-generated content has no ability to claim copyright protection and is not protected in any real way. However, they did say that if there is sufficient human authorship involved,
probably. This is only hearing it generally second-hand, and it could have changed since I heard about that.
Then that work may be eligible for copyright protection. This raises the all-too-important question, what exactly is sufficient human authorship? And the answer to that is, nobody really knows, because this has never been challenged or taken to court where any precedent has been set. And at least at the time of making this video, this means that we are still in the Wild West hellscape of AI-generated content and its copyright protection eligibility, and it's gonna get a whole lot worse before it gets any better. In fact, just a couple weeks ago, I was offered a pretty significant amount of money to promote some other AI platform that claims it's offering a robust set of monetization tools for AI creators, specifically so that they can start grifting money off the internet with all this AI music slop garbage. The core of the problem here starts to emerge when you think about not just how AI music is generated, but also how copyright works with music in general, as we discussed earlier. These AI models are trained on databases of music, but almost none of them have clearly stated where exactly these databases were sourced from. In one rare and particularly troubling insight, back in August of 2024, the co-founder of Suno admitted that their models are trained on music they sourced from the open internet. The open internet, as you can probably guess, is just the internet at large, and this means that any music out there on the surface web was considered fair game by any platform that trained on it.
See, that's the thing, right? If it's open internet as well, the AI would have a log of where it pulled it from, right? So you could actually say these are the sources, blah blah blah.
This is also why the RIAA opened up legal complaints against several major AI music platforms, claiming that the platforms were trained on the music of artists without their consent. The argument here largely falls down to a thought experiment in the world of AI content creation, commonly referred to as the Chinese room experiment. To put it very simply,
of course it's Chinese.
In a room where they saw some Chinese symbols and all they had were some rules and a data set to reference to create a response that is accurate and makes sense, they could then output some kind of response based on the input. On the outside, it would appear that whoever is in the box clearly speaks fluent Chinese, when in reality they're just referencing some rules that they have to formulate a response without any idea what that response actually means or implies. This is probably an easy way to see why AI-generated music is a real problem, especially when it generates something that's similar enough to an existing artist's work. And
okay. Chinese. Yeah. How is it? A computer executing a program cannot have a mind, understanding, or consciousness, regardless of how intelligently or human-like the program may make the computer behave. So, the Turing test. He really should. So imagines a person who does not understand Chinese isolated in a room with a book containing detailed instructions for manipulating Chinese symbols. When Chinese text is passed into the room, the person follows the book's instructions to produce the symbols that, to fluent Chinese speakers outside the room, appear to be appropriate responses. According to Searle, the person is just following syntactic rules without semantic comprehension, and neither the human nor the room as a whole understands Chinese. He contends that when computers execute programs, they are similarly just applying syntactic rules without any real understanding or thinking. Yeah, it's the same point, right? Because AI, or virtual intelligence as it still is a text completion algorithm most of the time. So it's gonna not understand. It just pulls what it thinks is a good response from what it's been trained on. And the voice conf test too. So the voice conf test asks a series of questions to the individual and judges emotional response. Oh, that's interesting. They have the Joandra's Dream of Electric Sheep version and the film version on the wiki. Huh. And as per the novel, it was already starting to become outdated because they were able to so closely resemble the emotional responses in the new Nexus 6 androids that the delayed response in an emotional response in the face would also be as well as what type of response it is. And then there was also an alternative reflex response that one of the other bounty hunters was saying about too, and stuff like that. And it's just it's an empathy test to distinguish Andes from humans, whereas in the movie, yeah, it shows like following the iris reactions and all that. And the movie did change that a bit. Evidence of intent. Okay, hang on. Let me read this fully. Yeah, it's not quantitative. It's also a thing like, even if it makes multiple attempts to solve a problem, regardless of understanding the opposite party, would it be intent, or would that just be, it's been programmed to solve this problem, therefore it's going to keep trying to solve the problem? Like, coding machines and wars and that, whatever the first code breaking machine was called. Yeah, how was it? Yes. That is an effective question to think about. And we believe that humans have free will and we arbitrarily make decisions based off of whimsy and or personal interests and that sort of thing. That would be awesome. It'd be very interesting as well.
Really, why it's a problem that it exists altogether.
We've gone down a different rabbit hole.
Music has melody, lyrics, and voice leading, and the other general defining characteristics that we classify as a piece of music. Technically,
I could replay Detroit Become Human again on stream and have a version of it up on my YouTube. Because, yeah. Those same sorts of themes. Do it? Okay. Well, that can be a one we revisit at one point.
It meets all the same requirements that human-created music does to qualify for copyright protection. Now, this in itself could be a whole video deep dive rabbit hole, so we're just gonna kind of have to move on here for the sake of time. But
we already got distracted.
That makes sense as to why AI causes so many problems for copyright and music, because whatever it creates, in theory, all it would take is someone to then upload that to a service like Content ID to cause a whole lot of headaches and problems for the rest of us. To test all this out, I ended up going on Suno and asked it to create some music that sounds like me. And of course, there are now protections against asking it to imitate certain artists, but by engineering the prompt a little bit, and with a little bit of trial and error, I was actually able to get pretty damn close to my own tracks.
Yeah, dogs are amazing.
This is something that a lot of artists and labels are upset at, especially when you see that there are entire websites or forums dedicated to prompts that you can use to emulate a specific artist's sound. You may have seen this cropping up on different streaming services where people have used AI to imitate a specific artist's style and then released tracks or albums under that artist's name, trying to get some money out of it. One streaming platform, Audius, even touts this as a feature and actively encourages artists to allow people to rip off their music.
To just tie it all together. Why is this in a different language? Human music. $1 to hear music with a soul. This is in Detroit Become Human. Yeah, that's tricky.
How the hell am I supposed to shoot from my head? Motown rain fall on me again.
This is in game. I think it's sort of mocap. It would be computer generated because it's generated by the game. It's in Detroit Become Human. Detroit Become Panhandler. Now this is one of the guys that you can interact with when you're playing as Marcus going to get the paint. Yes, I played it enough to remember that. And yeah. It has the whole thing of like AI music is superseding human music and art. That's the whole thing of Marcus's story too.
Now, in fairness, and I guess in the interest of playing devil's advocate a little bit here, you can say that all music can be broken down and classified with things like genre and instrumentation and arrangement and whatnot. This isn't that big of a deal. However, when you consider that musically speaking, all it takes to cause a problem here is for one thing to sound enough like another thing. And in this case, it's an AI-generated thing versus a human thing, but the AI-generated thing was told to generate something that specifically sounds like this specific human. If that human makes more music or uses a melody that sounds similar to the AI thing, and the creator of that AI thing uploaded that result to a service that adds it to Content ID, that's going to start causing a lot of headaches for everybody. This all becomes even more of a nightmare when you understand that some services also offer ways to upload a clip of audio to base a result on. This in particular creates a really unique problem for musicians and labels and anyone running a music catalog going forward, because when you take into account something like licensing, let's say, where someone wants to use your song in a TV show or a video game or a movie trailer or something, and they decide for some reason that they don't want to license it from you because they can't afford it or they don't want to or whatever, all they would need to do is take a clip of your song and upload it to one of these AI services that features a reference audio input function and then generate something based on that that's legally different enough, maybe, to circumvent the need to license it from you. As an example of this...
Yeah. The only way I could figure out how to not get copyright claimed on, like, I tried editing the actual audio on the video, is just to whistle it myself, because it has to be transformative enough. That's why I've got in the sound alerts.
Check out these two clips.
Because I'm like, that 100% won't get copyright claimed.
And then used the AI reference audio
which is
to generate something different.
It's not even that long of a clip, it's just sound alerts. And yes, it is very hard to find a non-scammy quality AI service for sure. Most of them are rubbish. And I'm sure even the ones that are like, you download the app and it's a conversation or something. Yeah. I can. You want the... That doubled up. I was gonna play that too. There's your double... There's the repetition of the whistle.
Now that really sucks, because I guess you could say that's different enough to not technically be the same thing, and that would mean whoever uses that is free and clear to do so. And in theory, if they released the soundtrack for what...
I've never paid for an AI service to know how good the really good ones are, other than hearing other people use them a little bit. Because I've just gone, well, I don't really want to pay for it.
Whatever that went into and decided to copyright it, I could be infringing on their copyrights, maybe to some degree.
You can make the AI do horny stuff, you just download the free apps for it. That is the AI character apps. You've got to get in on the no lock on. You just get the free ones with ads and get them to do the horny stuff.
Or if I
it's not image generation, but it's text.
Write more music in the future, I could be infringing on my own copyright of their maybe copyright because I wrote music that sounded too much like me. And
I tested it out one time to actually just see how far it went. Because it's like, it's this new thing. It goes pretty far.
There are no real protections against this either. Even though platforms like Suno will claim that tracks that are using copyrighted works or have vocals detected are stuck as...
Mark Grisky got really close, and his stuff and Sway Tour doesn't get copyright claimed on YouTube. Which arguably it should, because I just straight up lift his music and use it in the playlist, but also I would hate if it would, because then it's like, well, what music would I use in this Empire at War and Star Warsy ones? Because for whatever reason, the ones that are close to the movie music get copyright claimed, but not the ones that are original video game music. And, yeah, I have no idea.
Being private or cannot otherwise be downloaded, you could simply record the output of a free tool like OBS and then use it and be on your merry way. As
I'm surprised you didn't know that, Lock-On.
Human being, you would probably hope and pray that siphoning money off of creators using AI-generated content and copyright claiming them would be way more work than it's really worth. But the truth is, it's actually really easy, and it's not even that expensive to get started.
I'm on a side rant here. But you know the big problem with a lot of those free character AIs, at least in that, and even long-term ones, is retention of memory. Because you're crafting a story together, usually with the AI and role-playing, whatever. And then after a certain time, it starts mucking up details, forgets what you've told it, forgets background and established story, and then it just breaks and falls apart.
So I did it to myself, and it took me less than 20 minutes. I went onto an AI music creator, I generated some stuff with a free account, I downloaded the track, and then slapped it underneath some footage of me talking, and then uploaded that to my alternate.
Well, you're not gonna go into a roleplay with an AI and just go, quick 5 minutes, here's my fun, I'm done. You gotta go into a long-term thing where you're not like the AI's gonna bow to my every whim, so I'm just gonna go, you want some fuck or whatever with it. You gotta go and have an actual storytelling with it. And then that breaks the AI because you actually want to have a storytelling like an actual RPG style slice of life in some cases, or some of the more interesting ones are ones with other elements in them. But then that breaks because it's like the AI starts getting confused about its own character. You can gaslight it into something else that then you can roll with for a time, and then it forgets that, and then it gets confused and whatnot. It just gets confused when there's too much information.
YouTube account. Then I created an account with the music distribution service. I uploaded that
Dingus the Chungus
and paid the fee for Content ID. All said and done, this took me about 15 minutes and cost me roughly $30. And wouldn't you know it, a little while later, I got a notification that my video was copyright claimed by me. For
Dingus the Chungus! My AI slop that I copyright claim you with. Dingus the Chungus! Definitely not AI records!
using my AI generated track. Now you might be sitting there pretty fucking horrified thinking, why is there no enforcement for any of this? And the unfortunate truth is, there kinda can't be. With the service I used to upload the music, even though I was in clear violation of their policies
apparently
for
Lock-On
submitting this to Content ID, all I had to do was just check the right boxes and it was uploaded and submitted.
I don't bother anymore because it's like, okay, you do get it does extract time from other things and whatnot, and at the end of the day, you're investing time into it, and then it's like you have to have this kind of mentality of, it forces you to have this mentality of, I have to stop with this one and go on to another one, even though I like the story that was going on this one, because this AI is confused and it's lost the plot.
On YouTube's end, after disputing the claim on my own video that prompted this whole video, YouTube's response was simply that they're
we
just not in a position.
We haven't even got premium squeaky in there. It's free squeaky. It's free.
To determine or enforce any of this, and it's just a matter of too bad, so sad, better luck next time, sucks to be you. This means that the only real way for me to take this any further to resolve the dispute would be to go out, hire lawyers, take all of this to court for what would inevitably be a very long and pointless and expensive legal battle, just to prove the point to YouTube that this was AI generated and shouldn't be eligible for copyright protection through systems like Content ID. Ultimately,
that's the problem with like me going, oh, appeal it? No, I don't have the money or time to do it.
this means that there's no real protection and no real enforcement. So if I decided to sit down and make a bunch of AI generated music slop and
Probably.
upload that to a bunch of free background music for YouTube video websites that are popular, and then I decided to start claiming people through Content ID, well,
And it's probably not on the types of AI in the apps that I was doing it on my phone. Because all it was like text chat on my phone.
they're It probably goes without saying that the implications of this,
Like, I've seen
and
stuff with
how
Neurosummer.
far-reaching they are, is
That's a great example of you would actually get what you're trying to accomplish with an AI like that.
extremely troubling, to put it lightly. If you're a musician, in theory, if your music you wrote sounds too similar to a track that someone else made with AI, and then they decided to add their track to Content ID,
I could out myself. I mainly use Talkie and Linky, I think it was. They're the free ad-filled ones on the App Store that got more ad-filters. They got more people using them.
you could get claimed. If someone likes your music, but they can't afford what you're asking to license it, or just don't want to...
I saw Call Me Kevin put a video trying Inzoi, and it was interesting how he always tests it and tries to do different things, and it's like, yeah, it has nowhere near the depth that Sims has.
bother asking to license it, they could just rip it off.
Oh, you know what's really funny though? So, here's me outing myself. You roleplay as a woman for long enough in one of those AI text chats, and then it starts giving you ads for women.
The audio input functions of some of the more popular platforms. And if the results sounded similar enough,
even though your account's like, oh, you're male or whatever.
Because the next song you wrote sounded too much like you. If you're a content creator, if you use any AI generated music in your videos, all it would take is for the creator of that AI track to add it to Content ID, and now you are magically violating their copyrighted work. If you don't use any AI music, but you use music that sounds close to something that someone generated with AI, they could probably claim that as well, and you'll likely lose, because YouTube, a literal multi-billion-dollar corporation...
I hate that the disputes are not really looked at properly by YouTube. I think that's the worst thing, right? With this, is that you dispute it, only the copyright owner will look at it, and obviously the copyright owner's gonna say, no, I'm gonna keep the copyright claim on it, because they're making money off of it. So you don't actually have a person from YouTube look at it and go, is this reasonable or not?
Has absolutely no way to enforce or determine the rights to any...
And I don't really feel like a content creator because I'm not paid for it. It's still a hobby. So I guess it feels better in that way too. Like I don't have to worry about it being a livelihood or anything with this.
Anything, and well, it just
even though
sucks
I'm
to
doing
be
a fair bit of it recently.
This is all a giant nightmare, and you might be asking, what can we do
It's
about
just a saving grace in
And
some
the
ways.
unfortunate answer is not a whole lot. Until we modernize copyright laws and some of these cases of AI-generated content copyright claims and such are taken to court and precedents are set to establish new laws to keep up with the pace of technology, we're kind of doomed. And unfortunately, the reality of that is, even if one...
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of the bigger YouTubers end up with their own separate businesses as well. So they're safe as far as their livelihood goes. If YouTube screws with them, their channel goes down, whatever.
country decides a certain thing, international laws could vary and you still could be just as liable somewhere else as you are where you are now. Even if you're a creator who's not using AI-generated music in your videos, or you're a musician who's not using any kind of AI to create your music, you're still just as liable to respect the apparent magical copyrights of anyone who craps out a bunch of AI garbage and decides to hit the magical Content ID button. The frustrating and short truth of it all here is that it's probably going to take a while before any of this gets resolved, and it's probably ultimately just going to be resolved in favor of whoever has the most money to throw at the problem.
Yep. That's it. And little YouTubers don't have no money to be able to do that, and those are the main ones that are be using AI to create music because they don't have the facility to be able to use other things to create their own music. Right? It's a quick and easy way for people that aren't making a big livelihood off of it to do something on YouTube with music and whatnot.
I guess I should maybe apologize here if this video ends on what feels like a little bit of a bummer, huh? I wish there was a
But it's that kind of topic. He shouldn't need to apologize for that.
chipper ending I could slap onto all this with something I could say or advice I would give or some action we could
How the hell does he organize his desktop? I'm looking at this going, there's random folders. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
take to prevent all of this or help with all of this, but at least at the time of making this video, there's just not. So I guess instead I could end it with this. You should not.
There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Making the art or music or
Never mind all your tabs. I don't know how you keep track of what tabs what.
stories or videos or whatever it is you love to make because of this whole situation and these stupid AI companies that, let's be real, are probably just some kind of complicated VC money laundering scheme that we'll find out about 5 years from now. Because
Dag nabbit, you cannot unsee that. Also, yeah, thinking of this, they added a sidebar into Firefox, which you can have tabs in the sidebar. See, vertical tabs. There's literal tabs and everything that you could have there, and you could have a new tab and see that on the sidebar and then switch between them there, which is interesting. Just out of interest. I will stick to how I've been using it the whole time.
die. And if this is what you gave up doing the things you love over, you're going to look back on your life and die with a whole bunch of regret. And that would suck. So I guess maybe more simply, I'll just end all of this with my favorite quote of all time. You only get to die once. So make sure it was worth it. Hey there, me again. Videos like this are a pretty huge undertaking. In this case, like 160 hours, I believe, for this video from start to
So
finish.
deep,
And
yeah.
as you can tell, I am just one person. So to research, write, film, edit, and produce one of these videos, it's a lot of work, not to mention the financial black hole that this channel continues to be between all of the equipment and time it takes to produce these types of videos. And none of this would be possible without the support of my patrons and other supporters. So if you're one of them, sincerely, thank you.
See, he's doing the thing where he has a source of income that is separate to YouTube as well if it's going through Patreon. So
Literally none of this would be possible without you. If you're not one of them, though, and you enjoyed this video and you want to support the channel so I can find enough caffeine and take enough time off actually working to make more videos like this, you can join up with the links down below, or if you can't afford that for some reason, that's totally fine. I get it. You could check out my free instruments or sample packs or whatever. You could share this video, or, you know, you could just go out there and have a great rest of your day. So, yeah, I guess that's it.
I think I find it's a good video explaining the situation, but what I find is like he could have ended it on a better note going, I don't understand how this works, but here's what could be a good way to change the system to be better. Like, I find that it's like, oh, it just explains it, where some other people have been like, it's always nice to have a better, like, try to offer a solution, even if it's not the right solution, or have it as a way to try and open dialogue with staff at YouTube and that sort of thing. Because I've seen some people do that, and some people have had success and some haven't. But Yeah. And YouTube got worse than... Oh, yeah, it's a bit of... Like, it's a situation at the moment, right? And that's the reality of it. But I always try to hope for change for the better. But... who knows?
You can leave now.
It'll probably go through the bad part before they reform laws and everything and fix it. And then he puts a joke at the end of it.